What if the most extravagant billionaire love story in the world didn't end in happily ever after, but in whispers, questions, and a sudden shift that nobody saw coming? Just weeks after the fairy tale headlines, the spotlight around Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez changed overnight, and the internet hasn't stopped talking since. Stay with me, because this story gets more surprising the deeper we go. It began as a love story that felt larger than life, a romance between one of the most powerful tech figures on Earth and a media personality who suddenly found herself at the center of a billionaire universe. And when the wedding finally arrived, the spectacle seemed to confirm everything the world believed about them: luxury, glamour, power, influence, and a future that looked untouchable. But almost as quickly as the celebration faded, the tone online began to shift. Whispers replaced admiration. Speculation replaced celebration, and the internet started asking questions that refused to disappear. People began to notice the timing, the scale, the cameras, the curated moments, and the perfectly framed images that flooded social media and entertainment outlets within days of the ceremony. And what had once felt like a fairy tale started to feel to some observers like a mystery unfolding in real-time. Forums filled with timelines, commentators dissected public appearances, and entertainment channels debated whether the relationship had been moving toward a new chapter or toward a dramatic turning point. The fascination grew because the relationship involved figures whose lives had already been shaped by history, by enormous wealth, and by global attention. And the audience watching this story unfold knew that when people at this level make life decisions, those decisions echo across industries, culture, and media ecosystems. And so the story transformed from romance to speculation almost overnight. As viewers searched for clues hidden in plain sight and wondered whether the world had misunderstood the narrative from the beginning, with the names of Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez suddenly dominating headlines, not because of celebration, but because of uncertainty and curiosity about what might happen next. The internet thrives on patterns, and once the speculation began, it spread rapidly, fueled by commentary, analysis, and endless debate about what had changed and why. Observers revisited earlier milestones from the beginning of the relationship through the engagement and wedding, and the conversations grew louder as people tried to interpret every detail through a new lens. Online discussions questioned whether the public had witnessed a private love story or a highly public transformation into a new kind of power couple. Brand supporters argued that public fascination was simply the result of global interest in influential figures, while skeptics suggested that fame, wealth, and media attention always create complicated narratives that evolve over time. And as the debate intensified, the conversation expanded to include how relationships at this level intersect with public image, corporate legacy, and global perception, particularly when the individuals involved have histories that already shaped public expectations, including the widely known previous marriage between Jeff Bezos and Mackenzie Scott, which had been one of the most high-profile separations in modern business history. The comparisons were inevitable, and the public attention grew stronger because audiences recognized the scale of what they were watching: a story unfolding at the intersection of celebrity, technology, wealth, and media influence. And the fascination was not just about personal relationships, but about how modern narratives are created, consumed, and reshaped in the age of social media, where every image, every appearance, and every silence can become part of a larger story that the world watches together. As weeks passed, the online conversation evolved into something even larger: a broader discussion about how modern fame operates and how quickly public perception can change in the digital era. Commentators noted that in the past, relationships of powerful figures unfolded quietly behind closed doors, but today the entire world watches in real time, analyzing every development through millions of individual perspectives. And this transformation of privacy into public narrative became part of the story itself. Audiences debated the role of media, the speed of speculation, and the pressure placed on public figures to maintain carefully managed images in a world where silence can be interpreted in countless ways and every rumor can travel across the globe in minutes. The fascination surrounding Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, and Lauren Sanchez became a case study in how modern storytelling works in an era where entertainment, business, and social media exist in constant overlap. And as the Speculation continued. One thing became clear: the story had evolved beyond the individuals involved and had become a reflection of how society views power relationships and the fragile balance between private life and public attention in a digital world. And now the narrative stands at a moment of suspense where audiences remain captivated not because of confirmed answers, but because of unanswered questions. The world has seen the celebrations, the headlines, and the online debates, and now viewers are watching closely to see what the next chapter might reveal, because stories involving powerful figures rarely end where the headlines stop. They evolve, shift, and reshape public conversation in ways that continue long after the initial excitement fades. And whether this story ultimately becomes a tale of resilience, transformation, or simply another chapter in the ever-changing relationship between fame, media, and public perception remains unknown. But one thing is certain: the attention surrounding Jeff Bezos and Sanchez has transformed into a global conversation about how narratives are built, how quickly they can change, and how audiences everywhere remain fascinated by the human stories that unfold behind the headlines. In the end, this story is less about confirmed facts and more about perception, speculation, and the power of modern media to transform personal milestones into global conversations. The rise of digital storytelling means audiences no longer watch from a distance. They participate in shaping the narrative in real time. As the conversation continues to evolve, viewers remain drawn to the mystery and the unanswered questions. Whether the future brings clarity, reconciliation, or a completely new chapter, the fascination surrounding these public figures highlights how modern culture blends celebrity, business, and storytelling into a single ongoing narrative. As this story reaches its final chapter, what remains most striking is not any single rumor or headline, but the way the entire narrative unfolded in real time across the internet. A relationship that once symbolized luxury, ambition, and modern power quickly transformed into a global conversation about perception, privacy, and the enormous pressure placed on public figures. The names Jeff Bezos and Sanchez became more than individuals in a relationship. They became symbols of how modern fame operates in a world where every milestone can instantly become global content. What began as admiration turned into curiosity, and curiosity slowly evolved into endless speculation. That shift says as much about the audience as it does about the people at the center of the story. In today's digital era, public narratives rarely belong only to the individuals living them. Instead, they become shared experiences shaped by commentary, social media, and the constant demand for new developments. This transformation reveals how quickly the public can move from celebration to analysis, from romance to reflection. It also shows how modern storytelling has blurred the lines between celebrity news, business headlines, and entertainment. One of the most important lessons from this unfolding narrative is how differently relationships are viewed when they exist at the highest levels of wealth and influence. For most people, relationships are private journeys. For global figures, they become public spectacles where every decision is interpreted through the lens of legacy, reputation, and long-term impact. When someone leads a company as influential as Amazon, even personal milestones can feel intertwined with global perception. This does not make the situation simple or predictable. Instead, it adds layers of complexity that most relationships never face. The public fascination surrounding this story also highlights the growing role of silence. In an age where constant updates are expected, choosing not to speak can become a statement in itself. Silence creates space for speculation, for theories, and for the imagination of millions of observers. That absence of direct answers often fuels more conversation than any interview ever could. And in this case, the quiet moments have become just as powerful as the loud headlines. Another takeaway from this saga is how quickly public perception can change. The same audience that celebrates a love story can become deeply analytical when the narrative shifts. This does not necessarily come from negativity. Often it comes from fascination. People are drawn to stories of ambition, success, and transformation because they mirror larger themes about modern life. When the narrative changes direction, the attention rarely disappears, it intensifies. Ultimately, this story is not just about two public figures. It is about the era we live in. It is about how relationships, milestones, and life changes are experienced under the spotlight of global attention. It is about how audiences participate in shaping the narrative through discussion and speculation. And it is about how quickly the world moves from admiration to analysis in the digital age. As the conversation continues, one truth remains clear: the story is not defined by a single headline or moment. It is defined by the way it captured the world's attention and sparked a broader conversation about fame, privacy, and modern storytelling. Whether the next chapter brings clarity, new developments, or simply quiet distance from the spotlight, the fascination surrounding this narrative has already left a lasting impression. In the end, the biggest takeaway may not be what happened behind closed doors, but how the world reacted when those doors seemed to open, even just a little.